Ah yes, the beautifully done melodies that take us away into the land of the unknown, to a show called Over the Garden Wall. This is the first ever miniseries aired on Cartoon Network. This is a story also written by Patrick McHale, who has also helped write Adventure Time. It's an animation I haven't really watched. I'm sorry, I'll get to it sometime soon. Many of you already know about the show, but I wanted to give the whole series a review without giving any spoilers away. However, if my fans want to see me go through each episode and do reviews of each one, then I'll consider doing a more detailed analysis. However, I believe that the one Trey the Explainer can do a far better job than I. His video can be found on his channel, and I can link it to you in the description. But if you still want to see mine, then I'll give it a whirl. Over the Garden Wall stars two boys who become lost in a woodsy area called the Unknown, where many strange unexplained events seem to happen. All the while, they try to make their way home. There's Wirt, played by Elijah Wood, aka Mr. Frodo. Mr. Frodo! Frodo! No! Frodo! He is a shy, kind of nerdy kid who would rather write poetry than go on adventures, but he is actually quite intelligent and seems to figure out a lot of the problems that befall the duo. And then there's his half-brother, Greg, a young, curious boy who sees the world in his own eyes and was based off of Patrick's real-life son. He's a bit strange and sometimes annoying, which many children can be, but he has a heart of gold and loves his brother Wirt. They run into characters such as Fred, the talking horse, a crazy-seeming woodsman who is played by...
leave if you wish. I was frozen today!
Christopher Lloyd, and even a boat of anthropomorphic toads. The young brothers are also joined by a talking bluebird named Beatrice, who seems grumpy and sassy 95% of the time, but cares deeply for the ones she loves. Oh, I almost forgot to mention Greg's pet toad named... well, the name doesn't really matter at all. I love this show. It has a few imperfections here and there, but it's worth watching more than once. With only 10 episodes and each around 12 minutes apiece, it equals to roughly the length of a feature film. It's a good show to watch during the Halloween time for its slightly creepy and dark undertones, but don't worry, there's just as much comedy as scary in this show, balancing out the two pretty well. Though this humor can sometimes get a bit odd, or a bit stretched. However, some of the jokes had me in downright stitches, which makes up for the few that didn't work. The imagery here is spectacular, especially the backdrops and the scenery. The backgrounds remind me heavily of early American landscape paintings. The use of heavy amounts of light and shadow and fog to portray the environments is almost breathtaking, giving a lot of detail and an almost lifelike appearance, but it also maintains a slight cartoony style. The bad part of this is that sometimes the characters don't feel like they fit in, but that's only a rare occasion. One of the next best things in the show is the music, and if the intro is anything to go by, those pleasant tones will be throughout the entire series. It also knows how to capture the tension just like the backgrounds, able to go from light and whimsical to serious and dark in a matter of no time. There's a lot of blues, jazz, folk music, and even some opera was used in the show, all composed by the Blasting Company. Some of these songs were done by different artists such as Samuel Ramsey, Jaron Blindboy Paxton, Frank Fairfield, and Jack Jones. Wait, where have I heard that name before? Oh dear God! Oh God, make it stop! Oh, thank the heavens. Moving on from the music, let's talk about the story on a whole. I love this tale, but as I said before, to me it wasn't quite perfect. Still amazing though. I feel the weakest points were the first few episodes, mainly the third one, but they all have their moments and charms, so I wouldn't skip any of them. Not only that, but the creators wanted to balance out the darker, scarier moments with more light-hearted ones. That's why I believe it's part of the reason some of these things feel a bit more toned down at times. My favorite thing about the story is the characters' interactions with one another and the world around them. It feels realistic. The only time I don't get this is when it feels like Greg is more of a plot device than an actual kid. But hey, they have to see interesting sights somehow. Otherwise, it's just nothing but walking for several minutes. I'd also like to point out that there are several pieces of symbolism throughout the story. I won't give away any sort of spoilers like I said before, just keep your eyes and ears out for them if you do care to watch. They're pretty much everywhere, and I'm sure you will enjoy watching this series more than once just to view all of these events. If you're a fan of the show already and want to experience more of the story, there are several comic books written by Patrick McHale that connect several of the episodes together. This gives insight on several accounts what happened during the adventures we didn't see on the TV screen, serving up more juicy information on Fred, Beatrice, Wirt, and Greg. So if you have some time to kill, I would highly suggest watching this show. It'll make you laugh and cringe watching these two brothers try to find their way home.